doesn't have to be scorching hot for your dog to be at risk. And our guest today is going to show us how to recognize the early signs of pet heat exhaustion, what immediate steps you can take to cool your dog down safely, and most importantly, she'll be demonstrating acupressure techniques you can use to help prevent overheating or support your dog in a serious situation. Come on, all you doggies, won't you walk with me? I'm the puppet dog. This is the Animal Intuitive channel. I'm Angela Webb. I'm the owner of Animal Intuitive Academy. I'm nationally board certified in animal acupressure and massage, and I've been a professional animal communication instructor and licensed therapist, now specializing in hypnosis and brain spotting for humans for over 20 years. My information is in the description with a special offer there, and I love helping animals and the people who love them feel more connected, as well as empowering pet parents like you to support your animals. We do have timestamps on this video. I'm so excited to welcome a favorite returning channel guest today, Amy Snow, co-founder of Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Resources, the acupressure program I attended, and she is the co-author of the widely respected books AcuDog, AcuCat, AcuHorse. And Amy has been a true pioneer in the field of animal acupressure, along with her co-founder Nancy Zadonis, who we've had on the show before as well. And they help people all over the world support their animals' well-being through the powerful, gentle, and ancient art of acupressure. Also, Amy has a very special gift for you, so find out about that. Welcome back to the show, Amy.
Hi, Ann. Thank you for inviting me again.
Absolutely.
I do like talking about health issues for dogs, obviously. In fact, that's my favorite thing to do. And as you said, as you started, it doesn't take much for a dog to get overheated. When you're looking at 80 degrees, believe it or not, a dog can get overheated at 80 degrees, which is, that's Fahrenheit, and Celsius is between 26 and 27 degrees Celsius. So all of that is, you have to watch your dog, you have to be aware. And the reason that dogs overheat fairly readily is because they don't have very many ways of getting rid of body heat. They only have panting, which we all know that when a dog is panting, they're releasing heat. It's not just a stress reaction, it's actually a physiological need to release heat. And the other is very minimally, though, through the paws, through the pads of the paws. In fact, when I lived in Tucson, I could see if I left a dog out on our porch, which they wanted to do to watch people, I could see little pads of dampness every so often if I came out and watched. But you have to be very careful because the streets, as you walk them, they can burn their paws. And that's a little hotter. I mean, as it approaches higher 80s, you do need to take that into consideration. So overheating is one thing, and heat stroke is the more extreme form. So hopefully you, as a pet parent, will catch it before it reaches anywhere near heat stroke, because heat stroke is fatal, believe it or not. Heat stroke is get to the vet as fast as you can because the organs are starting to shut down. So we recommend that at the overheating, when you see your dog panting heavily and not able to take in enough air and is not cooling themselves and looks lethargic or any of the other symptoms of overheating, it's time to do something. That's when you do the acupressure that we're going to show you. But if you reach the heat stroke level, which is even more dire, and it can be terribly grave, you're going to want to continue to cool your dog down, but get to the vet. That's all there is to it. There's no stopping that.
And also just want to apologize for any background noise. My cat is playing with a toy that I should have put away. If you hear like some loud, it's a little difficult. It's this big tube and she loves to run through it and it's kind of like loud, so I apologize.
Well, I think that's fine because we all have our animals in our lives. My dog is not, he's in the kitchen watching somebody eat. That's his favorite thing to do. So at the moment, he's not here. So That's why I have a moment with you. As pet parents, we know all about this.
Yes,
but
exactly.
The things to watch, there are different issues around dogs. Dogs with heavy coats, people think, oh, you're supposed to shave the hair. The answer to that is no, you're supposed to brush the hair. You got to get the undercoat out so it creates a sort of air pocket for the dog. That actually is very cooling. Think of how the Arabs wear those heavy garments. It's just amazing. So that's the same principle, is that you leave all the outer hair, make sure you keep them well brushed when they have heavy coats. The other, of course, is the brachycephalic dogs who have the pushed-in nose, the boxer, the pug. They have more respiratory issues. And just because of those respiratory issues, they can't cool themselves down quite as quickly or readily. So you really have to watch overheating for pugs, boxers, bulldogs, any of that kind of dog. But other dogs that will actually get affected by heat more than others, than the average dog, is very young puppies. You got to be super careful not to leave your puppy out in the sun, even on a relatively cool day. Puppies do not have the resistance that a grown dog will have. And the other one is very old dogs. A lot of old dogs think they should go out and lie in the sun endlessly because their bones want to be firmed up. But it's exactly that. They can become overheated too quickly. Yeah. So aging dogs, young puppies, brachycephalic dogs, dogs with heavy coats. Those are the ones to watch. Those are sort of the four areas to look at.
And they do definitely try to do that. My cat and my dog try to do that. They want to soak up the sun, and they start to pant, and I'm like, guys, no. I know this feels good, but time to go in.
It's the exact opposite of what you should be doing, because then you could run into severe trouble. So you've got to watch. It's your job. The things you can be doing, say you're at a meet and it is a sunny day and it is warm, of course, hydration. Make sure the dog has enough water. And if they're not drinking enough water, put something in the water to motivate them to drink it, even if it's a little meat or whatever, because they have to consume and stay hydrated, just the way you do.
Yeah, we were just talking about lemon, too, with dogs. I have been told cats, too, but I would talk to your vet about that. But dogs.
So add in some lemon to the water. But my dog happens to like bananas. And today was nectarines, a little nectarine in the water to keep him hydrated, because it's very hot. We live in New Mexico. The day's going to go up into the 90s as usual during the summer. Yeah. And so we keep him highly hydrated, and we do not go out during the sun hours of the day like right now. We go out at 6, 7 in the morning, and then again at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. He can't, otherwise during the day, he can come and go with the dog door, but we do not emphasize going out. Mm-hmm. It's just too hot.
Yeah.
So the other thing would be to avoid rigorous play during very hot days. That can lead to overheating very quickly. The thing about being outside, say you're doing an agility trial, and it's an outdoor agility trial, and there is sun, just be mindful. Making sure you've got the hydration, making sure the ventilation is good. Maybe you need to go into a shaded area with your dog, especially between competition. So, and you can also use some of the points that we're going to show you and demo a little bit when the dog has a break from being on whatever your trials you're doing. So that's something to think about. This is available to you. That's the beauty of acupressure, by the way. It's available to you at all times. Exactly. You and your dog. That's all you need. Yep. So there are very specific points that are known to be cooling on the dog's body. But let's talk about the unwanted one, the one that once they reach the step beyond general overheating, and the dog's been running, playing, running, whatever, and a lot of dogs just lose track of their own body heat, frankly. I'm going to read you a list of what it looks like. What does the lead into heatstroke and heatstroke looks like? Because at least even if they show up with, say, only 2 or 3 of these, it's worth knowing them. So, loud, frantic panting, temperature over 103, because temperature on a dog should be 101 to 102, still very good. But 103 and up becomes dangerous. Elevated heart rate. Sometimes elevated heart rate can mean other things too, but in combination with the panting and the heating. Because elevated heart rate can mean an experience of pain, frankly. Pain causes elevation of heart rate. So agitation, just the dog being, kind of confused and agitated and not reacting normally, that can show, if that shows up. Excessive frothy salivation. In other words, they're drooling, excess froth. They're just trying to get stuff out. Dark purple gums, that is our tongue, frankly. In Chinese medicine, when we see anything purple, it means stagnation. And stagnation is, think of a bruise on your hand. That's stagnation of blood. Well, it's the same thing, but it's stuck in the tongue. Greyhounds, after they've run a race, take a look at their tongues. They're purple. They have to calm down. They have to release their heat. That's internal body heat is forcing that. So it's something to watch. And it's also really not good. Vomiting, diarrhea, muscle cramping, seizure-like tremors. They may not be a full-blown seizure in the definition of seizure, but the animal is shaking out of control. Because, frankly, what's happening is things are shutting down in their body. Mm-hmm. And they're cold. Mm-hmm. See, the heart is not pumping warmth anymore. Just general weakness, dazed, disoriented, loss of balance, collapse. That's pretty traumatic, yes. Loss of consciousness, and unfortunately, death would be the last of that. Well, these all sound very dire, and guess what? They are. Yeah. It's time to go to the vet. You've done whatever you can with acupressure that we're going to go into in a minute or two. And unfortunately, anything over 104 or 5 can be fatal. Mm-hmm. So, given all that, well, how do you help? Again, remember hydration, ventilation, all those good things for the animal, taking a break, getting in the shade, making sure that there's cooling down. Okay, you see the dog is moving in the wrong direction. Don't put anything like wrapping cold, because then the body contracts, and the heat can't get out. And that could cause death in and of itself, because there's damage to the internal organs. Okay, given that, what do? You spray the dog, get them wet, put a fan on them, ventilate them so it cools down faster. They continue to pant. Keep them very settled. Don't let them run around. Don't let them move. Just keep them as settled and cool and sprayed as possible. So that's really the absolute first step.
And what about ice packs? The whole thing about putting an ice pack under the arm or in the inguinal groove, what do you?
Well, as long as you're not chilling the whole body, shutting the cold in. that could be useful. I know I'll show you a point in which ice packs can go, but I'm even at the overheating stage. I would not say ice packs are a great idea. I'd rather you spray the dog with a hose, keep them wet and cool, keep ventilation, keep a fan on, get them into air conditioning and shade.
Yeah. And inside, right? Because if you get them wet and they're outside, that's not good either, right? Because it can get. My understanding is that I had a dog trainer explain that it can get the water can almost get like trapped under the fur, and it can turn into a other problem. So you don't want to like leave them out if they're in that situation wet. Like you'd want to get them inside, right?
Inside, well, shaded and well ventilated. The idea is to get them ventilated, get the moving of cool air. So fans are the best idea. Or in a breeze, if you're out, I've been out with horses and had my dog alongside and realized she was kind of getting cool. This was Tilly. And so we get back to the barn, we go into the paddock area, and I get some just spray her with water from the trough and get her inside and get her well ventilated. And she was fine. It was just, I'm glad I noticed that it was late morning. We should have gone in earlier. That was our fault. So again, stop any activity, get them inside, get them to shelter, get them to shade, get them to wherever you can get them, and get water on them, get them cool. You don't want to capture any of the heat. I can see the possibility of water getting under there and warming up.
Yeah.
And I can see that with a slick coated dog. I don't know. I don't know that you'd have to get him inside. You'd have to. Yeah, Tilly was not a heavy coated dog. She was short haired. So we did a good job. She's okay. She made it.
She's okay. I had my cousin's dog. They lived in Texas, and they were walking their dog. This is many years ago, but the dog went into heatstroke they were just walking like in their neighborhood, and they start freaking out. There's a vet who either drove by or was walking by. I think he was walking as well. A vet. He just happened to be there.
Wow.
And the dog still died. The vet wasn't able to, he tried to help, but, so that tells you how serious it is at that point.
And how quickly it can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, living in New Mexico, and I see people out with their dogs midday, and I cringe.
Even here, yeah, it's. We've had a couple days this week. It's been in the 100. I think it's been up to, or maybe it's been like 98. I don't know if we've quite reached 100, 94 to 98 in New Jersey here, and it'll get to feeling like 100, plus. So,
believe it or not, you've been hotter than we have.
And you? That's funny. That's
good
interesting.
Old southern New Mexico, much hotter. So I don't know. You have to gauge where you are, what you're doing, and it's your job to be conscious, and pay attention to your dog. So the pet parent is in charge there.
Yeah,
dogs want to have a good time. They just want to be happy, friendly, loving creatures. They're so innocent, so loving. Yeah. And that's so. Once you've noticed any of the things that I listed, it's probably time to go to the vet right away. They're going to do the best they can to get them cooled down. They might even do some level of transfusion to change out the blood that is, unfortunately, is literally cooking, and making sure there's fluids in the body as best they can. So, what do we do in terms of acupressure? I have a little dog here, but I think you have some photos that you could pop up.
Yes.
Is that still possible?
And also, we do have, I just want to mention, if this is helping you, benefiting you, please do like, subscribe, and share. It really does help. It keeps you up to date with future shows if you subscribe. We just got past 2000. I think we're at like 2014. And for this show, that's been a long time coming. Believe me, it's an educational channel. Sometimes it's a little bit more challenging. So I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed, and will appreciate those of you who take a moment to subscribe. Try to put out really educational and helpful information for you and your pets about a few different topics having to do with animals. I have playlists, you can check those out. And also want to mention that Amy does have a special guide, and I'm going to have that description in the link. So everything we're talking about today, she's been so kind to give us a link where you can get a free copy of that on her website. Again, the description's in the link. But what is that website, Amy? Just so people know it.
Simply Animal Acupressure with one C, ACU, pressure.com. Animalacupressure.com. That will put you right into Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Resources.
Right. So no simply at the beginning. You were just saying simply animal. At first I was like, it's called simply.
You know, we chose that about when the internet was just getting going. We have the name of our business at that time, believe it or not. So, yes, we've been in business for 30 years, teaching worldwide.
Guys, these are the people here. These are the experts. They've really brought animal acupressure to America at the forefront. So we are very lucky when Amy and Nancy come on.
We've been able to teach worldwide. Taught in England for 20-some years, taught in Australia 20-some years. So the benefits of doing it are just, we felt that we had to. Our passion was to get this around the world, and we have succeeded in doing it. And other people, thankfully, are taking it over, such as yourself, and are doing a phenomenal job worldwide. And we have other instructors now, not us, but they're just as well trained and eager to do it and just as passionate. So I hope you'll join that and learn more about acupressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check out their website, but don't go now. Wait till after the show. Not yet. So what would you like to start with? Which point?
Governing vessel 14. It's right at the nape of the neck. I don't know if I can get this done too. This is a funny little dog, okay? The nape of the neck is right there. And what we do is, I can show you better on my hand, what you do is this. Very simply, just light scratches to bring out energy. You just sort of little light scratches and keep it up till you get tired. That is the greatest cooling point on the dog's body, by the way.
Amazing.
Governing vessel GB 14. It releases body heat. And I'm going to show you a few other ones that, that also have the same, similar. But GB14 is like the key one. If you do that all the way to the bed, that's it. Or if you're doing that as somebody sprays the dog and keeps the fan going and the ventilation and everything else, then you're starting a good process. Governing vessel 14 is number 1 cooling in all. So these are points, acupressure points, by the way. They're pools of energy along a specific meridian. In this case, it's known as the governing vessel because it runs right on the top line of the dog, and the top line will expel more heat by doing that. It's just a point that will stimulate. The dog may start panting. Just be aware, the dog might start panting even more rigorously. Don't worry. That's what they need to be doing. In fact, I've seen that happen, in fact. Okay. Because it's also the point we use for seizure. When a dog is having a seizure, I use that point as well, because seizure is heat, and it's very dramatic heat rising. So GB14 is one that's not dangerous for your hands to get near a dog that's having seizures. But again, we use it very effectively for cooling the dog. The next point that I would like to do is more of an emergency point, but it works in case you have a dog that's collapsed, when it's in more of a desperate area. And that, again, is a governing vessel point, and that's governing vessel 26. What you do with that is you put, like this, put your hand here. You do not have to scratch it. Press lightly at first, press more firmly, and then come out again. Press more firmly, then come out. So it's right beneath the nose, right in the center of the puppy, and you're going in and out. If there's any danger of being bitten, don't do it. Mm-hmm. If there's any danger that the dog is out of control, it's a place that this is not a good one to use. We don't want you getting hurt, and we don't want to further stimulate any other dangers at all. So governing vessel 26 is called the emergency point generally for any dog that has collapsed, lack of consciousness, or is looking like they're going to collapse, or has any respiratory issues, because this point actually stimulates the entire shock. Vets are starting to use it if they have a dog that's giving birth to, and what's interesting is they use the flick method right there to get the puppy to take their first breath, if there's any question. It does stimulate. If you have a dog in shock and they haven't responded to simple pressure, you can use that flick method. It's a shock to the system. Mm-hmm. It hits the whole the nerve system in the dog's body. So that is sort of the super emergency point.
Yeah, so great.
It is. But it would only be if the dog has collapsed or is losing consciousness or something of that sort.
Yeah. And you can really use that in any situation, right? Where they've lost consciousness, not just heat stroke, but.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I was, a friend of mine had a young dog who wasn't puppy anymore. He was like 5 months old, 6 months old. And he fell off the porch, slammed his chin, was knocked out. Oh. He had been barking at a cat or a squirrel or something. We ran down, and I immediately just did the flick on his little nose, just below his nose. And then after the flick, I did hold it. And he woke up.
Wow.
And his tail.
That's amazing.
Acting crazy dog, and then he starts looking for the squirrel or the cat or whatever it was that he was after in the first place.
That's so great.
It's called the consciousness point, actually. Some people think you've seen that in some of the texts. Oh, large intestine 4. There's large intestine 4, which is right on the top of the dew claw in the webbing. So it's similar to us that we have it right in the webbing of our dew claw. Mm-hmm. This is our dew claw. So this is our webbing. And sort of pressed back against the bone. And that's large intestine 4. It has also cooling attributes. It's a very good point. And if you're not able to do this, you might try large intestine 4. It could be an alternate to it, but not quite as powerful. It has more cooling attributes. It has a lot of attributes. Large intestine 4 is one of the ones we say is a go-to point on a dog, period, for any balance. So there's a saying in Chinese medicine school that when in doubt, large intestine 4, and another point called stomach 36, because it creates this full balance. Right. But for this purpose, large intestine 4 will help with cooling your dog down on your way to the vet if it's dire, or if it's just a simple overheating, it's a very easy point to reach and find.
And also, Amy, how long would you recommend people hold the points?
Ah, good question. At least a slow count of 20. That would be, and in some, sometimes what I do say now that you put pressure on and then increase it for a period and then come up out, go back in, hold, breathe, come out. So do that repetitively, but gently. I mean, there's no pressure. If you go pressure, you're actually stopping the energy. So you don't want to put extreme pressure on. You have to work lightly. The meridians literally are right beneath the skin. And on a dog, they don't have very, thick skin. They're not like a horse or like a dog. And they have fairly thin skin the way we do. Right. So you don't have to press. This is not roto-rootering. It's not digging in. It's simply placing with a little mild pressure and then come back out. Little pressure. That way you're encouraging. What the goal is to encourage energy. You encourage movement along the meridian. The chi has to move. The second you press too hard, you're stopping it. And you might create another problem. It's not a good idea. So you want to keep the energy flowing. What you're after is to create a harmonious flow of chi throughout the body. And these are points that help release the temperature of the body, but they are also starting the balancing process. So the body can restore its own balance. You're not in charge of restoring the balance. Only the body can restore its own balance. And that is something that I think, really good medical doctors understand, that it's up to the body to do what it can. And, you can throw every pill and antibiotic at a body that you like, but if the body is not receptive and able to utilize it, then it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. The animal effects. So it's the same with any form of medicine, frankly. The body has to be able to restore itself. And what we're doing with acupressure at all times is encouraging the body to go back into a dynamic balance. And of course, we call that yin and yang, which happens to be the yin is the fluids and the substance and the good, healthy, rich nutrients of the body that have to get where they have to go through blood and body fluids. And every organ has to do their part to make it happen. So that's what we mean by balance, is that balance in the yang promotes it, moves it, gets it where it has to go. So the two have to work together in this dynamic balance, constant flow. So what's happening with the cold, when heat stroke, is the body is actually shutting down and the body's not getting what it needs. So that's why the organs have to shut. So this is your job to make this happen. What other points do you have?
You have one more here.
This is probably the dog's favorite point in the whole wide world. We often go at the feel-good point. It's known as the Bai Hui. And the Bai Hui is right on the sacrum. If you go to the top of the hips and go to the middle, you will find the Bai Hui. And it feels like a little baby trampoline. Let's see if I can do this on this puppy. It feels like a little trampoline. Soft. There's no spinous processes sticking up in the spine. So what I want you to do is what I told you to do on GP's
scratch
14 is do that lovely scratch. There is no dog alive that doesn't love the Bai Hui point. And this point is also on the human, is not here. It's not on our sacrum. It's up here on the top of our head. So you can also, after you get done doing the Bai Hui point, go here, because this is a point that also reduces. It's right, if you go to the top of the ear, go to the very, very middle of the head, and you scratch there too. That releases heat as well. That's governing vessel 20, right on the top of the head. That's the human, this is the human Bai Hui point, because that's where we are, it's considered closest to heaven. And I asked my professor, why on animals, 4 legs, is the Bai Hui point back here on the sacrum? And he at first kind of looked at me and did a very wonderful Chinese response. I don't know. The next day we were in class, he called me over and he said, well, I've been thinking about it. In his very strong, he was 23rd generation Chinese medicine doctor.
Wow.
So his DNA was not like ours. His DNA was traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, TCM, TCM. An incredible man, just incredible. He could look at you and tell you exactly how you felt.
Oh my gosh.
He was, anyway, brilliant also. So he said, I gave it a lot of thought. And when a dog or a horse or a cat is happiest, they're eating and their heads are down and their butt is up. So this is the closest place to heaven for them.
Yes.
Now, is this true? I'll believe it. I don't know.
They do love it, so
yeah, you're welcome to believe that. It's just really. You have to remember that acupressure began as a folk medicine thousands of years ago. So you're going to hear, there's a lot of stories. In China, the children are brought up knowing to wear their muffler out cold and cover their wind hole in the back of their neck so that the wind doesn't get in. So grandmothers take good care of the grandchildren and tell them all sorts of wonderful stories to keep them healthy and balanced. So even though it is a folk medicine originally, it has been proven time again, there are tons of studies out there now, that how the meridian system exists, the energetic system that runs through the entire body and stimulating along these poles of meridians, actually affects the internal organs and the body's ability to rebalance itself, which is everybody's goal, especially with heatstroke. God, if you're at that point, you're doing your best, and you should be praying as well, sending spiritual energy to this animal to give it as much life as possible. Wonderful. So those would be
fantastic.
That I sent off to you. There's one other, but it's hard to show, that is probably the second most cooling one, but I will try to show it on the dog. This is my canine companion gift dog, because one of my dogs was a canine companion. So here's the tip of the
So it's
nails.
the most inner nail inside, most medial.
You can go one up, back, one joint.
Yeah,
that's liver 2.
That's an easy way to put it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go back one joint from the nail bed. And that will give you liver 2, if you can reach that, especially because it's a little, you have to have a little more knowledge to use it. Again, in this case, just hold it. Mm-hmm. Just hold it. It's a very strong point because it's closest to where chi is the deepest, is most available, I should say. It's anything close to the ends of the paws is going to be the most, you can influence the flow of chi, which is the lesson of acupressure. There are actually a fellow in Norway I don't know if he's still alive, actually, but he is well known. People from all over the world would go to him because all he used were what is known as the Jingwell points, which are the nail heads, because that is the highest where you're going to reach it, and it's also where yin and yang flip. They meet at the ends of the fingers. So we have a friend in Ohio who had leukemia. He is still among us, and he flew to Norway to work for treatment. Yeah.
Using acupuncture or acupressure?
Both. He was a very interesting man. He felt that adding his own energy, the way we do an acupressure, was just as significant and as impactful, and it depended on what was going on. So he knew when to use acupressure versus acupuncture. And that's part of the beauty of acupressure. There's also other parts. It's called Tui Na. Tui Na is where you do more hand movement to help move the qi in the body. And the more you know about basic acupressure and the meridians and all those good things, then you start with Tui Na, which is a form of massage, which in fact, all massage is based on Tui Na. It traveled the Silk Road, and that's how we have Swedish massage and all the different forms of massage and Thai massage, and all of them are all based out of Tui Na. So it's the original meridian massage. So it is extremely impactful on the body. Anybody who's any form of body work, and it's all good. Body work is all good. So we just like to go back to the root of healing, which is the original traditional Chinese medicine. And that's where we've come from and continue to teach from.
Yeah. And it's so wonderful that we have it literally at our fingertips, that we don't have to wait. We can start helping them. If it is a situation where they've got to get to that vet, we can help them on the way. And so that's the blessing of it. That's what's so wonderful about it. You're not just powerless and helpless. You can do something. You can start things moving. So absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. Is there anything that I missed that you wanted to touch on before we finish up?
I was going to ask you if you had any questions specifically that we haven't just. The other thing is to remain calm and focused. And your focus simply is that you want health and well-being for this animal. You know, you have to, that's your job. It's the healing intent. That's your job, is to place calmly and a very strong focus on the health of that animal.
All right. And thank you so much for watching. And Amy, thank you so much for all this wisdom. Make sure to check out the other videos we have on here with Tallgrass. I do have a playlist with Tallgrass on here. And God bless.
Rub my belly. Rub my belly.